It's an abandoned house, basically. There's nothing in it. He had walked through this particular room many times, over and over, for weeks. And he said right in the middle of a room is a Christmas ornament that is a gold angel. And he's like, I have no idea where this came from.
This is Touched by Heaven, everyday encounters with God, because God is speaking to you and to me and to the church and to the world. And here we get to listen in on the conversations that God is having with us through encounter stories, angels, divine intervention, prophetic dreams, visions, near-death experiences. Welcome. I'm your host, Trapper Jack. There seems to be a Christmas ornament appearing out of nowhere. Originally, this was episode 238 and had to do with what happened when I sent my guardian angel. This time, let's focus on blessings. Blessings. I was going to talk recently, and that was kind of the focus, was just the blessings that sometimes we miss. And so I asked my wife, Elizabeth, I said, I need, if you can do it, kind of put the cherry on top. You're the end of the talk. With something that talks about blessings, especially this time of year, I think. Something that kind of puts the cherry on top of remembering the blessings that maybe we don't think of even as blessings, but are, you know? So she found something and kind of capped off the talk, and I thought, awesome, let's bring that on to Touched by Heaven too, because Elizabeth hasn't been here enough, and I'm getting a nudge that she's going to be. And thank you for the cold, by the way.
You're welcome.
You're at the end of yours, I'm at the beginning of mine, you okay?
Yeah.
Okay, all right,
There
here
you
we
go.
go. Okay, what's this thing called?
I am thankful for
By
Nancy J. Carmody.
Okay, hug the microphone and go to it. Here we go.
I am thankful for the mess, to clean up after a party, because it means I have been surrounded by friends. The taxes that I pay, because it means that I'm employed. The clothes that fit a little too snug, because it means I have enough to eat. My shadow who watches me work, because it means I'm out in the sunshine. The spot I find at the far end of the parking lot, because it means I am capable of walking. All the complaining I hear about our government, because it means we have freedom of speech. That lady behind me in church who sings off key, because it means that I can hear.
Are you the lady singing off key, or are you the other one?
Yeah, probably. Can you hear me?
I have no comment. Go ahead.
Lawn that needs mowing, windows that need cleaning, and gutters that need fixing, because it means I have a home. My huge heating bill, because it means that I am warm. Weariness and aching muscles at the end of the day, because it means that I've been productive. And the alarm that goes off in the early morning hours, because it means that I am alive.
Amen. That's awesome. That's all. Thank you for that. And you'll be back for other. Is this first time I Touched by Heaven for you? Did we?
Maybe.
Maybe?
I don't
know.
remember.
I'm getting a nudge that you're supposed to do more stuff now.
Oh.
So get ready. There'll be other
Great.
stuff. So shortly after Elizabeth read that, I hear a song bubbling up in my head. And the song is the Kenny Rogers hit, The Gambler. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. But it's at the end. For every hand's a winner and every hand's a loser. Isn't that the truth? Fact is, everything I have right now, I can be completely content and happy with. Or not. Everything I have right now can make me miserable. My choice. I love how in the beginning of the book Vanderbilt, written by Anderson Cooper, and he's one of the Vanderbilts. He's a descendant. His mom was Gloria Vanderbilt. This is a family that had all the money in the world. And he talked about how they made their money, how they squandered it, how they fought over it. It was just got so ugly. They had it all. They had it all, right? All the blessings in the world. Maybe. At the beginning of the book, he put a Mark Twain quote. Wealth is being content with what you have. Wealth is being content with what you have. He's not saying don't try to get more. He's not trying to say don't try to provide better for your family. Just understand if you're not happy right now, when will you be? We're always going to be happy when. When I get the house, I'll be happy. When I get that car, I'll be happy. When I get the raise, I'll be happy. When I get the promotion, I'll be happy. What about now? and how we should measure ourselves from where we are right now backwards. Don't measure yourself against anybody else. Don't measure yourself against anything but yourself, looking backwards. Where was I in this area, that area? How have I progressed? What do I need to work on? What am I looking forward to? What are my goals? It's about what I'm doing, not about comparing it with what you're doing. Otherwise, you'll drive yourself nuts. Every hand's a winner, every hand's a loser. It's all how we react to it, isn't it? I was in the article I was reading about Kenny Rogers in this song. It said Kenny Rogers died with $250 million in his estate. $250 million in his estate, which goes to his wife, his fifth wife. There's some pain in that life. 5 wives. And when she dies, then the 5 children get to split it up. If you were just handed $50 million right now, that's good, right? Maybe. It might ruin you. Every hand's a winner. Every hand's a loser. Now, I need a story this week, right? Okay, so.
Touched by Heaven. The title really spoke to me. So I listened to one episode and I was completely hooked. I loved hearing the stories.
And Anne's got so many conversations with God. I just want to share these beautiful blessings with you once again here on Touched by Heaven. Everyday encounters with God. Blessing number 1 is the one she refused. Yeah, she refused for about 10 years.
He tried to date me, but I declined several times. I didn't really know who he was or why he kept bothering me, but we just kind of bumped into each other over and over. And even after high school. And once we finally really met each other and I had interest in him, we got engaged after 3 months and married 3 months later.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What took you so long? I mean, this guy's he's like repellent, and then suddenly, now we're married.
Yeah, he was very persistent. He said when he was 15, he got down on his hands and knees and prayed for me, and then got the courage to call me, and I said, no, thanks. So 10 years later, I guess it was time. I don't know.
10 years.
Yeah. I had really no interest in him. I don't even know how it's possible, but zero.
Well, what happened 10 years later that you went, oh, you?
We both love music and he's a musician and we kept running into local shows. I think the stars just aligned. I knew I wanted to be married. I knew I wanted a family. I had been with people and, fallen in love with people before, but they weren't on the same page. And so to find someone that you are clearly on the same page about, you have so much in common. And there's just this drive. It was just right. I can't even explain it. It was just right. More than anything I could ever have hoped for. He just was everything. He was it. And we knew what we wanted to do in life and do it together. So it was just.
And your Touched by Heaven story includes him.
It does.
Okay.
Yeah, it does. Then after, I'm trying to remember if it was shortly after we were dating or married, because it happened also quickly. But I was telling him about how you can send your guardian angel to people. And he had not heard of this before. And he thought, well, that's pretty interesting and cool, And then we just kind of had that conversation. That was that. And then shortly after that, it must have been within the same week, I sent my angel to him for the day. He's a carpenter and, sometimes I worry about the types of projects he's on because it can be dangerous in some ways. So I just sent my guardian angel to be with him for that day. And he calls me from work, which we don't usually talk during work. He's usually pretty busy and they don't have phones and computers by them. They're with tools. And so he called me and he said, strangest thing. And I said, what happened? He goes, did by any chance you send your guardian angel to me today? And I said, yes. Why? And he said the darndest thing, because I am working in this house. It's an abandoned house, basically. It's a house that's a ginormous mansion, really. And it's in a development where they're trying to build, all new houses, but nobody wants to take down this old, kind of more historic looking mansion house. There's nothing in it. And he's actually making repairs on it, just kind of helping it stay in good shape as they build. The future plan was to build the development out and around it. And it's empty. And he was working and he had walked through this particular room many times over and over for weeks. And there's been nothing found in the house. Not a single personal belonging in the house has ever been found. And he said, right right in the middle of a room on carpet with, no furniture, nothing else, is a Christmas ornament that is a gold angel. And he's like, I have no idea where this came from, but I know I've been through this room 1,000 times and it wasn't there before. And nobody comes in this house. No one comes in or out of this house besides him and a buddy that works with him. I said, well, bring it home. Can you bring it home? And he said, yeah, absolutely. I can bring this home. And so he brought it home. And we put it on our tree every Christmas. It's the last ornament to go up every year. And we just tell the kids the story, Yeah.
You don't happen to remember the time of year that this happened, do you?
It was definitely before Christmas. And we remembered there was snow on the ground, but we were pretty excited that it was an ornament we could put on our tree. We didn't have a lot of ornaments. Like when you get married, you're typically starting to build, what you have to put on the tree. And I remember we were excited about that.
That is just so special.
It is. I don't know how, we don't know how to, we were just talking about this a week ago as we put up our tree. I'm like, tell me again, from your words. And he's like, I don't understand if it came out of the wall or where it came from.
Amazon, like everything else. It was 2 days shipping. Yeah, it was 2 days
Well, it doesn't matter where it came from. It wasn't there before. And
wow.
My husband, to have him be sharing that story, like, no, this is what happened, guys. This is crazy. To even have that come from him, that it's really his experience, and he's completely, believing like, yeah, I mean, mom sent me her angel, and I literally got an angel. Like, it got there on the same day that I sent my guardian angel, and these are not coincidences. Like, this is just, you can't make this stuff up.
Can't make it up. Nope, you're right. You can't make it up.
Sometimes the kids put it on and they're short. Like my 5-year-old, she's short. This year I put it on and it's right in the middle. Yeah. It's, where everybody can see it. Every year we get to tell that story, and faith comes and goes. You have things in your life that come and go. And I love that every year, no matter where we're at, with struggles or COVID, whatever it is, we get to have this story to remind us. And we have this tangible object that we get to use and be like, wow, other moments in your life you can lose because there's not a tangible. And I feel like it's such a gift that it was a Christmas ornament, and we get to focus, kind of remember that in this moment where we put the ornaments on our tree as a family together. That's super special to me. Just because every year we're all in a different place. A year goes by, we're older, the kids are getting older, and this is something that they can now pass on to their kids, because there's literally there's an angel in the room.
And it's got to help fortify the faith of kids. And as they get older and question and all those things, like we all do, there's something about at Christmas time, mom and dad have this ornament that came out of nowhere, and it's an angel, and that just makes Christmas, doesn't it? I mean, to have your own, it's a wonderful life story,
Yeah.
What a gift.
I'm very grateful for it. Yeah. Well, and so, I mean, how I found the podcast too is, I think, another just good story. So the day that I found your podcast, I woke up and it was early, before the family. And what I do, of course, turn to social media, looking through Facebook. And one of my friends had posted just a reshare of something of Tim Tebow, or Tebow. I don't know. He's some football player.
Yeah, Tim Tebow.
Tebow, yeah, and believes in God. He's very outspoken about it. And the post was essentially that he believes that the end of the world is coming soon, and that we really need to prepare our hearts. And it really stuck with me. I looked into what she shared, and then who's this guy? He's really inspiring. And I just started thinking about what happened. I mean, if the world ends now, like, which it feels like it's coming when you think of just all that's going on in the world. I just thought about, how am I preparing myself, right? Would I make it to heaven? And I opened up a kitchen drawer. It's just a junk drawer. And I'm like, I'm going to clean this out. And in this kitchen drawer, I found a little pamphlet that was about the 10 Commandments and how to get to heaven. I honestly don't remember where it came from. It was probably like left on our doorstep, and I always save everything. I started reading it, and it was literally like, here's the 10 Commandments and here's how to get to heaven. And I thought, that's really strange. I was just having this moment of like, how do you prepare yourself? And it really spoke to me because I felt like it was like, here's the things you need to do, right? 10 Commandments. Then my daughter woke up, so I head upstairs. I'm going to get her out of bed and get her up and get her breakfast. And I just look out the window and I see my neighbor's van running. It's Sunday morning. It's warming up. They're all going to church. There's 7 kids in that family. And in my head, I go, they're going to church. I'm like, there's 7 kids. I have 3. And it's like pulling teeth and just, noting to myself, like, it must be, like my family. I came from a family of 6 kids. It was just the expectation. How do I get my family to be like that? And I go into a room and, waking her up, chit-chatting as usual, and she asks me, are we going to church today? And I'm like, what? She's 4. She has no clue what day it is. And she usually wakes up and she asks, like, am I going to school or am I going to grandma's house? Those are like, that's her world. Today she asks, are we going to church? And that really just kind of stood out with me. And I was like, okay, is this God? Okay, I will go to church today, right? I'm definitely going to do this today. I'm going to make it there. I'll go to the nighttime mass, right? That's when I had more time before the rest of the family wake up, and I turned to podcasts and I'm searching Touched by Heaven. I must have listened to like 4 days straight, like just trying to and I think it was just the idea of miracles that really stood out to me that was when I heard the first episode. There's a saint, is it St. Anthony, that helps you find things?
Right.
Yeah. Here it is. It's Touched by Heaven, episode 190. She shared about praying for things that you lost. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm really inspired today. I'm going to pray for something that's lost. And I decided that it would be for my daughter, who has a little white stuffed animal. It's a kitty. And we had lost it, maybe 6 months ago or so. It was her favorite. I had bought it for her. Like, we had already looked everywhere in the house for it. I had looked up north at a cabin we've looked in boats, cars, everywhere over 6 months. And I don't know where it is. And I thought, that's it. I want to find that. And I was a little nervous because she could have left it anywhere,
Right.
and maybe, and I'm like, am I challenging? Like, what is this? I don't even know what I'm doing, but I know this lady prayed for some keys and I had already decided it's going to be this kitty. So I, please help me find it. Right. Did my prayer. And immediately as I'm praying for like, okay, this is my item. This is what I want to find. I had this idea like this. I don't know how to explain it except for it's like, just pops into my head that the kitty is by her bunk bed. And I was like, well, that's just silly because I've literally torn that bed apart, right? And made the bed how many times and washed the bedding how many times in 6 months. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what this voice or this thing in my head is, but I need to go look. So I go to the top bunk where I thought I was visualizing it. And I look down the wall crack, and I'm looking under the mattress where you think it'd have a bump. And I just sat there and I'm like, okay, it's not here. But I have a real sense, and it was almost like overwhelming, like, but it is here. And you have, and I'm trusting it, that this is guiding me. And so I'm like, okay, well, here it is. And I'm feeling strong. I've never felt this strong in any communication with God. And it was just like, I fully trust you. It's here. But yet I'm not seeing it. And so then in my head, I'm like, okay, well, look under the bed. And I'm like, well, that's just, in my head, I'm like going down under the bed. I'm like, I have literally vacuumed under this bed. I have to kind of like push up the blankets in order to see under the bed. I pull up the bottom and there's the kitty on the floor underneath her bed, which is
on the floor.
On the floor. It was there. And I just started crying. I'm like, what it was for me was confirmation that I hear these things and it is God. And I have to trust it because I can lose, you can be busy, you can think, oh, that's just me telling myself the answer or not trusting that it's truly coming from God. But this was like evidence, right? Like I was guided like the lost keys I got. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, it's like it's not even me going into to look for this. It's just like I am just guided by this.
Yeah. The fact that
And
you got hit with the image of the bed. That's what you got, the image.
Yep. I was
And
like,
that's the way it can work sometimes. Sometimes it's an image, sometimes it's a word. It's just amazing. God uses the canvas of the whole universe. And then for you to not let go, like, this is dumb. I've already looked here, I vacuumed here.
Yeah, I was walking to her room being like, this is crazy. I've already looked here. And then I'm on the top of the bunk and I'm like, it's not here, but it is here. I can feel it. It is, a voice is like, but it is, you know?
Okay, so when you explained this one to your hubby,
Yeah.
what happened?
Yeah, I told the whole family this, right? And I told them as soon as they woke up, and I captured it. Like I was like, I want to make sure I don't lose any moment of this morning. But here I am still also going to church, remember, right? And God's not done yet. So he's having dialogue with me all day, like from the time I basically woke up and I was like, how do I get to heaven? And then there's this pamphlet. And then I go and get my daughter. And she says, are we going to church today? And then I go get this kitty thing because I found this podcast. So I'm going to church, right? That's still on part of my whole day. And it's 5:30 Mass. I feel great, right? I'm excited. I'm committed.
Who's all with you?
Just me and my daughter. The rest of my family did not want to go. My youngest, my little kitty owning daughter.
So the 4-year-old is the one that was her kitty.
That was her little kitty, her stuffed animal, and she's going to church with me.
How perfect. How perfect. Is she taking the kitty with her?
You know, I think she might have.
Darn right I would.
I think she did. So we're at church. My daughter looks at me and says, Mom, your earring's missing. And I was like, what? Oh, sure enough it is. And okay, well, it must have fell out, right? And that stinks. I lost an earring. 10 minutes later, it's like, I need to go to the bathroom. So we have to leave church. And we head out to go to the bathrooms. I kick something, but my daughter stops and she goes, Mom, that's your earring. Like, it was so light that I don't even know how she heard it or saw it on the ground, but I didn't. She noticed it and she said, Mom, there's your earring on the floor. Because we were just walking, holding hands. And maybe
were you in the restroom when this happened?
No, this is on our way to the bathroom.
On the way. Wow. Yeah.
For me, I was like, that is the icing on the cake that she points out to me, you've lost an earring. And I wasn't about to go, think about it. I'm in Mass. I'm not like, okay, now I'm going to pray for that and find my earring. I was literally in Mass. I'm like, okay, shoot, bummer. I take out the other one. I put it in my purse and I'm like, well, it'll go into the earring drawer of, misfits. There's only one.
The island of misfit earrings. Was it an expensive earring?
No,
okay.
No, it wasn't.
And how perfect that she found it.
Yeah.
You found her thing. She finds your thing,
Yeah. Yeah. And I told her that we found the kitty. I just simply asked God, where's this kitty? St. Anthony, help out. Where's it at? All hands on deck. Let's find the kitty. It was hard for me because I didn't want to challenge it. I just felt this draw to, as soon as I listened to it, like, okay, what do you need to find? Like, it was like in my head, like, okay, what do you need to find? Give me a whirl here.
That's so good. What a great day. That was a great day.
Yeah, it was a great day. I mean, from the time I woke up until, that Mass was at 5:30. And I just felt like God had a sense of humor. I mean, to lose my earring and then it's found, 20 minutes later, that's just God's humor now. Like, this is him just having fun with me now because he knows I'm listening.
Yeah, beautiful. That's awesome. That is great, Ann.
Yeah.
Okay, what's our takeaway? I always ask the takeaway.
I think for me the takeaway is that the dialogue and God wants a conversation. He wants prayers. Yes, prayers are powerful, but a conversation is really, for me, how I can have God with me all day. So I am listening more. certainly the losing of an item, and hearing that confirmation of God's voice for me, trusting that, and saying as much. Now, how can I help you, God? What do you want from me? And I have to learn how to. Now I know how to listen, and to trust how He's communicating with me, and to look for it, because I certainly could have overlooked or not listened in any of the stories I just shared. But it's happening all the time. It's Him. I have to trust that voice and that place that my entire being feels when He's talking to me is real.
Absolutely. And I love the fact that you now have daily conversations where he's just always in the room now, isn't he?
He is just always in the room.
It's simple, it's beautiful, it's what relationship with Jesus is all about, and it's just a great part of your day, and one particular special day, actually a couple of days. Throw in that guardian angel Christmas ornament, and you've got quite a story there.
Yeah, for sure. I remember when that happened, I did tell everybody. I mean, I remember a mass email went out. I was just like, to believe, right? And when you believe with your whole heart, like, it just opens up for more and more. But the faith is so hard sometimes when you don't see things. And I was lucky enough to, I feel like, have something physical that is still with me today. Hopefully it gets passed down to my kids, and just, we never lose it. If we do, I guess I know who to pray to.
Yeah. Thank you for this. Thanks, Ann. Blessings, all of that here. And thank you so much. We are so grateful for you, for listening, for supporting, for an angel Christmas ornament in the middle of a floor where the husband and the coworker, remember, both were walking by there for how many days, weeks, whatever. Meanwhile, I need your story. Touchedbyheaven.net. That's a good place to contact me there. Our Patreon shout out to a couple of longtime supporters that make this go and have been for a number of years. Can't thank you enough. Randall Adams, as well as Steve Jonas. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate that. Making this all go for as many years as you have, and appreciate your stories as well in this. 347 here at touchedbyheaven.net. Click on through to Patreon, or go to patreon.com and search for Trapper Jack. Actually, I could utilize Ann right here for why people do what they do.
It's just, it moves people, and I hope more and more people find out about your podcast, because I think it's so positive. It's so needed in people. The more you hear, it's just undeniable, right? That God, He wants to communicate with every person out there. Clearly, you're never going to run out of stories.
Click Stay Informed. You want our weekly email, and otherwise, let's just do this again next week. See what we find here at Touched by Heaven. Everyday encounters with God. I'm Trapper Jack. Where can you find me? Here on the podcast. Where else?
On the floor. Look under the bed.